Welcome to New Chapter. Today we're talking about Angela Duckworth's Grit, the Power of Passion and Perseverance, a book that unpacks what it really takes to succeed and how grit, not talent or luck, is the driving force behind extraordinary achievements. Duckworth begins by challenging one of the most deeply held beliefs about success, the idea that talent is the most important factor. We often idolize the naturals, the prodigies and geniuses who seem to achieve greatness effortlessly. But Duckworth argues that this perception is misleading. In her research, she found that talent alone doesn't predict success. Instead, it's a combination of passion and perseverance, a quality she calls grit that truly matters. Let's start with passion. Duckworth emphasizes that passion isn't just a flash of excitement or enthusiasm. It's not about chasing every new interest or abandoning one goal for the next shiny idea. True passion is something deeper and more enduring. It's about sticking to something you care about over the long term. It's finding a purpose or a goal that aligns with your values, something you're willing to dedicate years, even decades, to mastering. Passion, Duckworth tells us, isn't just discovered. It's cultivated over time. But passion on its own isn't enough. Perseverance is the other half of grit, and this is where the hard work comes in. Perseverance is about sticking with your goals, even when things get difficult. It's about showing up, putting in the effort, and continuing to improve day after day, year after year, even when progress feels slow or setbacks feel overwhelming. This is the kind of persistence that separates high achievers from everyone else. Duckworth introduces a key idea in the book. Effort counts twice. She breaks it down like this. Talent, or your natural ability, is important because it helps you develop skills. But skill alone isn't enough to achieve greatness. You have to apply that skill, and that's where effort comes in again. Here's the formula she uses. Talent effort equals skill. Skills effort equals achievement. So even if you start with less talent, putting in more effort can lead to greater achievements in the long run. Effort doesn't just add to the equation, it multiplies. Duckworth also introduces a tool called the grit scale. This is a test that measures how gritty you are by asking questions about your ability to stay focused, work through challenges, and stick with long-term goals. It's not meant to label anyone as gritty or not gritty, but rather to help you reflect on your mindset and habits. And the good news? Grit isn't fixed. It's something you can develop over time. Duckworth explains that building grit starts with cultivating a growth mindset, a concept developed by psychologist Carol Dweck. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities aren't static, but can improve with effort. If you see failures and setbacks as opportunities to learn, rather than as signs of inadequacy, you're more likely to persevere and ultimately succeed. In addition to mindset, Duckworth highlights the role of deliberate practice. This is the kind of practice that isn't necessarily fun or exciting, but is focused, structured, and aimed at improving specific weaknesses. It's the kind of practice that athletes, musicians, and other high achievers use to push their limits and grow their skills. Another important factor Duckworth discusses is the influence of culture and environment. Grit isn't just an individual trait, it can be shaped by the people and communities around us. When you're part of a culture that values perseverance and hard work, you're more likely to adopt those values yourself. That's why mentorship, support networks, and role models are so important in the pursuit of long-term goals. Duckworth also explores the connection between grit and happiness. While grit involves hard work and persistence, it doesn't mean sacrificing joy or fulfillment. In fact, people with high levels of grit often find deep satisfaction in their work because it's tied to a sense of purpose. They're not just working hard for the sake of it. They're working towards something meaningful. One of the most inspiring parts of the book is the way Duckworth uses real-world examples to illustrate her ideas. She talks about Olympic athletes, military cadets, spelling bee champions, and even successful entrepreneurs. What these people have in common isn't extraordinary talent. It's an extraordinary commitment to their goals. They've faced failures, doubts, and setbacks, but they've kept going. Finally, Duckworth acknowledges that grit isn't everything. She's clear that success also depends on other factors, like opportunity, resources, and even a bit of luck. But grit is one of the few things we can control. It's a skill we can develop, a mindset we can adopt, and a quality we can nurture in others. The big takeaway from grit is that greatness isn't reserved for the naturally gifted. It's available to anyone who's willing to commit, work hard, and persevere over the long haul. Whether you're pursuing a career, a creative passion, or a personal goal, grit can help you get there. So, if you've ever doubted your ability to achieve something, grit reminds us that it's not about where you start. It's about how much effort you're willing to put in and how long you're willing to keep going.